This is code.org, and this is my assignment, well, my example assignment for my students of the final project for data tools in the CS Principles course. So let me go through my super awesome game, and then I'll show you how to make a super awesome game that also, students, meets all of the requirements, so you can get an excellent grade. All right, let's hit play. Shockingly, it's a clicker game. Click. And we have this monster. I'm going to click, click. I'm earning gold. Click, click. And then if you click on the penguin, that is the bad guy. He will end the game. But thankfully, I have now 10 gold, so let's head to the store. I'm going to buy I can't afford a gold getter. This increases the punch of my clicks, so I'm going to buy one of those and just go to town. Look at my clicks going up and 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 up. We're almost going to be able to, we can, oh, dang it, I didn't mean, oh well. Ah, oop, I won. And the reason I won is this is my new high score, 127. It's logging that data. So, showing you that, let's go through how to build it. I want to start with some of their examples from lesson 15, right? We're going to be working on lesson, well, what is now lesson 16. They changed the number of it like every year. But regardless, what we're doing is looking through their stuff. And keep in mind, you are saving data in all of these. They haven't set that up yet for us, but like, please sign in. Let's hit run. Obviously, you're going to be entering information where they save data to a data table. Same thing here. This is a survey. You enter your information. They show it to you on a chart, right? And these are their examples. So let me walk you through how to make your own clicking game that hits all of these requirements. We're going to start off with the visual stuff. Let's get that all laid out and ready to rock. So I'm going to start where I guess it would make sense to start, the start scene. And I'm going to call it that too. I set a background color of blue because I like it. And then let's throw some text. This was a fairly simple scene. It's just meant to kind of introduce the game. Title text, I'll call this. And I'm going to keep my very original title, A Clicker Game. And then for the width of this guy, I was going to try 330, about this width of this screen, honestly, and 345. Positioning, we just went 0, 0. And the color, I went with an orangey color. Something like this. Oh, the font's way small. I'm not sure. Nope. Oh, way too big. That is pretty good. I might set it to 70. And then I want to push this down just a hair. So let's do 10. All right, now I'm going to add an image, which is just the mouse. For all these images, you can hunt and upload your own, of course. I just go to icons, I typed in mouse, and voila. And, oh, that's a pretty good size. Actually, I might even pull it out a bit. And I just made it white. And if you want to, we're not going to really interact with this, but I could do title icon if I want. Now a button. This, we want, I'm going to have the same color for this, so I'm just going to copy this, or FCD511. So I'm just going to go over here, FCD511. That's a hex code for a color is what that is. And this is going to be our start button or our play button. I'll call it play button. Well, actually start might be more clear. Start button, and I'm going to put play on it. And then for the width, let's do, I don't know, 150 and the height, 80 maybe. Ooh, way too big. 60, sure. And then our font size, 65, way too big. 35 it is. I'm just going to kind of center this guy right about there. 30. Great. And we've labeled this perfect, perfect, perfect. And that's our start screen. So let's now quickly put together a game screen. For the game screen, we're going to need a few things. I'm going to start with the clicks and the gold at the top, right? The important stuff. The score and the gold count. And to do that, what you want to use is make sure you just use label. Text area is to enter stuff. Well, text input is to enter stuff. Text area is for us to write paragraphs. So let's, I'm going to call this gold label so I know what it is. And by gold, I mean clicks. We're going to put clicks on top. Clicks. Up. Clicks here. This is pretty good. I might increase the font a bit to like 15, we'll say. And that is looking good. I'm going to just click duplicate, and here it is. So now I'm going to call this gold label, gold, and then we're going to position it right below clicks. I want it over a bit, okay? And then I'm going to duplicate this and say gold number, and this is going to be where we keep track of actually how much gold they have. And let's line it up here. Something like that. I'm going to increase the width of it just in case they get a whole bunch of gold. 150, that should be sufficient. And then I'm going to duplicate this. Let's line these up. Yeah, something right there. Okay. And I need to label this. Oh. And I'll call this clicks number. Okay, that's looking good. And now for the bad guy, the enemy. Oh, I should label this the screen. I'm gonna call it game screen. And then the enemy. Let me drag out image and do enemy img. And then let's go ahead and choose an image. I'm gonna pick the same one, which was like that monster thing. Boom. And I made it pretty much all the way across. Oh, that might be too large. Let's take a look. Sure, my width is 220. My height, I'll just put at 220 as well, not that. And X is 50, Y, we'll do 100. Looks good. We could even, okay, fine. I'll do 240 by 240. X will be 45, Y will be 80. Great. All right. And I'm going to make them blue. Yeah, that's looking good. If you want it pure blue, you could just do FF at the end, and that's 100% blue. All right. And then we need labels for the super click and the gold getters and a button. Super label. Oh, this is going to need to be way smaller. I forgot. 18. I'm going to put X at 60 and Y at 300 maybe. 320. Let's do 310. Great. And then we're going to duplicate this and call this is going to be our gold getter. So gold getters. I know I'm creative in naming things. And this is going to be getter label. Like I said, creative at naming. And yeah, that looks good. You can line it up exactly if you want. It's kind of up to you. And now let's go ahead and do the numbers for these. So I'm just going to duplicate this. I'm going to say getter count. Ooh, let's actually say, so we getter count game. So we know it's on the game screen. And then I'm going to put this equal to 0. And we can leave this super long. That won't really affect it. And I'll put it down right here-ish. Yeah. So that's at 220x and 345y. Let's double check this. Yep. Okay, so let's now duplicate that. And let's put it in the same spot. 220x. Must have been 225. And that's looking... Oh, nope, it wasn't. 220 is looking good then. And let's make sure to label this super count game. So we know it's on the game screen. It's pretty important. All right, let me just take a look. Oh, well, yeah, of course. So let's get started putting down some of the code for our app. And let's start with our variables. I know we're going to need a click and a gold variable. So variables, plop and plop. And I'm going to call this one clicks, and we'll start it at 0, and then gold, and start it at 0. So the idea being that you get to click a bunch, and you can earn gold, right? And then you can go to the store and spend it and get fancier stuff. So Let's go ahead and test out an event then, and that's going to be hidden under UI controls. So I'm going to drag out an on event. And what I want to test is on the event that, what's this thing called? ID enemy IMG, right? So, and I can see that because I'm not in run mode. I'm going to click here and do on the event that enemy image is clicked. What do I want to have happen? Well, I want my click variable to go up. So I'm headed to variables again. I'm going to grab my equal sign. Now, doing that, right, as we know, it's kind of weird because you're going to say clicks equal clicks plus 1. And what the computer will do is get down here and say, okay, clicks has a new value. It's going to be equal to, oh, whatever clicks used to be equal to. So the first time would be 0. 0 plus 1. So now the new value is 1. And then if we click it again, the computer would be like, okay, what's the old value? Oh, 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. So then the value would be 2. So on and so forth. Now, keep in mind, this won't, oh, we got to actually, first things first, we should have animated this button or put an event out for our play button. So I'm actually going to stick that at the top here. And the idea for that is start button. That makes sense. And on click, what do we want to have it do? We're going to want to have it set the screen. Set screen. And what screen should we change it to? Well, how about the game screen, right? So again, it gave me that information. And if you hover, let's try that now. Boom. So that's working. But notice click isn't working. It actually is, we just can't tell. It's adding to clicks, but we haven't changed it on the screen yet. So to do that, we're going to hover over this again. This 0, I named its ID as clicks number. So what I'll do is add to clicks, and then I'm going to go set property, what clicks number, not the label's this. And what do I want it clicks number to change? Well, I want the text of the clicks number to change, not the height, not the color. I want clicks number text to change. And I'm going to use a variable, right? So I don't want text. I'm going to use a variable. So I have to delete these quotation marks. And you might have to get behind them or highlight them with the mouse. They're kind of annoying. Because if I were to put clicks in quotation marks, it would just write the word clicks. I want the computer to evaluate what clicks is equal to. So now when I click on the enemy, hopefully it will add one to the clicks variable and then make the clicks variable show for clicks number. Let's test. Boom, boom, boom. All right. So we got that part working. Great. Let's go ahead and just finish setting up the basic design. Now that we have some code on the screen, we're getting going here. All right. So game screen, let's throw down a button here. And this is going to be to, I'm going to call it shop BTN because it's to the shop. Shop. And I kind of like that size. We can increase the font. Oh, perfect. All right. And then maybe the width. Whoa, going crazy here. Great. And all of that's looking good. Let's also throw down some icons for these. Well, we'll do that next, actually. Let's go ahead and get the, let me make sure, we just have the game screen. Yep, shop screen. Shop screen's relatively simple. So I'm going to name it shop screen. And I don't know, I'll give it some random background color. Probably more bluish. Something like, okay. And what we need is the user to know how much gold they have, what the items are, and be able to get back to the game. So to do that, we're going to be using several labels here. And I'm going to call this gold shop label. So I know it's in the shop screen. And the text is just going to say gold. And let's increase all of this. Sure, 18's looking good. I'm going to go ahead now and duplicate it. Gold shop count. Okay, and this one's going to be the actual amount of gold you have. We'll set it to 0 for starters. Okay. Drag it out just a bit and put it up over here. Let's see if it's even. Y here is 5. 5. Perfect. Okay. Not close enough. Here's what I'm going to do. Oh, there we go. Awesome. Okay, so there is my gold amount. And what else do we need? We need a label for what they can buy. So, label super shop label. And this is going to be the super clicker. Okay. And let's go ahead and say, I don't know, 22 for that as well. 26. Sure. 26 it is. Maybe up here somewhere. And then I'm going to duplicate this, and below it, I need a gold getter. Getter shop label. Okay. And then just to make it look a bit nicer, I threw some icons on here. So choose, I just did the mouse for this one. Oh, and also that's how the user selects them actually. The mouse and I don't know, maybe green. And then for gold getter, I did a diamond. Thought it made sense in my head. Then like that, yeah. And again, these will be the icons that the user uses. So let's say getter icon or getter button. So we're going to make them into a button, and super icon. And then we want a count here so the user knows how many they have, and we want them to know the price. The price we could actually put with them maybe. Super clicker, $10. Yeah, how about that? Gold getter, I was going to set it at $30. And of course you can put it separately if you prefer. All right, and now we want to make sure to have a count here for how much the user has, and then a button. So I'm going to drop a button, and we'll say game. Oh, game shop BTN. And maybe I'll stick with 20. And there's the width. And that looks good. So now just these last two numbers so the user can keep track of how much they own. Count. Super shop count. I just duplicate and drag this down. Gold. Shop count. Oh, did I put that up here? Oh. Getter shop count. And perfect. I'm loving this. And so we'll again use it so they can just click here and here so they can purchase them. Okay. And now let's head back to the game screen, which apparently I solved them. Let's throw some icons here because they look nice. Design. $50 and $50, I think. $40 and $40. I'm going to go ahead and duplicate. Beautiful. All right, so now let's add a bit more code. All right, so we have the start button working and we have the click working. Let's do some of the gold. So for the gold is going to be what is used to buy items in the shop. And we've already created a variable for it. We want the gold to be somewhat random. There'll be a random chance they get gold. It's not always, not every click. The click will be counted, it will go into the data, that will be their highest score. But the gold is what we want to use to allow them to buy stuff in the shop and get an even higher score. So how can we set up the gold? Well, on each click, I'm going to go ahead and do, gold's a variable. So I'm going to go ahead and say, once enemy image is clicked, so we'll count the clicks. And then what I'm going to do for gold is, here, I got two ways to do this. So we're going to do an if statement. And if And we're going to use equals equals, right? That's a conditional operator. If something equals something, well, what do I want? I'm going to do a random number, actually. So if random number 0 or 1, 2, 3 equals 2. So what this says is if a random number 1 to 3, and every time this runs, the computer picks a random number 1 to 3. Well, if it happens that that random number is equal to 2, so roughly a third of the time, right? So I'm going to give them a third chance, a 33% chance that they get gold. And how much gold? I'm going to do gold is going to be equal to gold, and let's say plus 1. And then what am I going to add? Well, the gold getters. We want that to increase the amount of gold they are earning. So, and I want it to increase it kind of by a lot. So I'm going to multiply this by getter owned plus 1. And I'm multiplying it by getter owned plus 1 because when they start out, they have 0 gold getters. And so this would always be equal to, gold to 0 until they buy one. So I'm going to go ahead and start them out with gold getter plus 1. So that way, when they first start out, 1 times 1 is 1, and they'll earn 1 every time our random number is 2. Okay. So let's go ahead, and now remember, this won't update gold yet, so we want to use UI set property, and same thing up here. What do we call this? Gold number. Gold number. We want to set the text. And to get rid of this, I'm going to go behind it using the arrow keys. And I'm going to set the text to my variable, to whatever gold is equal to. So let's see if I randomly can earn some gold. Oh yeah, I changed the screen's name I corrected the spelling. Oh, I was trying to spell scene. Oh well. Alright, and click, 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 click. Getter owned hasn't been declared yet. Oh yeah, I just created a new variable where we keep track of how many gold getters they have. Getter owned is going to be equal to 0. We eventually want to keep track of supers as well. Super owned, and for the start, it'll be equal to 0. And that's just how we track how much they own. Let's try that again. And there you go. Gold goes up a bit. Cool. Now we want them to be able to spend that gold, right? So let's go ahead then and let's animate the shop button. Game screen, right? So we're going to use UI on event, and then on an event that the shop button is clicked, what do we want to have happen? Well, we're going to set the screen to the shop screen. Shop screen. And then once they are in the shop screen, once they're here, we want them to be able to click on this and this to buy stuff. So we're going to need 2 more on events, and we're going to need 1 for this button too. So let's just drop all 3 of them in. I'm going to hide this. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So on the event that this super icon is clicked, oops. So on the event that the super icon is clicked, on the event that the getter icon is clicked, yep, and then this is game shop button. On the event that the game shop button is clicked. Well, for the game shop button, that one's pretty straightforward. We want to go ahead then and have it set the scene or set the screen back to the game screen. Okay. Now for the super click, well, if they click on this, we want to make sure they have enough gold because we're not going to let them buy this super clicker thing unless they got the money. So we want to control that. We're going to head over to ifs, and if they click on the super icon, click, we're going to say if, and then we're going to use comparison operators, which is in math. We're going to say if we don't want less than equal to, we just need to know if it's greater than 9. Because if it's greater than 9, it would be at least 10. So if gold is greater than 9, what are we going to do? Well, we're going to do 2 things. We're going to take the variable, and I think I called it super owned. So we're going to take that variable, super owned, and make it equal to super owned, whatever it used to be equal to, plus 1. Okay, so we'll add 1. So now they own it. Now we would want to update this count here, right? We want them to see how much they own with those numbers. So we already know how to do that. That's just a set text. And then I call this super shop count, maybe? Yep, super shop count, because it is the super clicker. So, and then we don't want it equal to text. Let me use the arrow keys to put the mouse somewhere over here. There we go. What do we want it to equal to? Own. Or is it super own? Super own, I think. Yep. And then same thing down here, basically. When they click on the diamond, right? So when they click on the getter icon, we want to check if they have enough money. Show me the money. So if they have gold greater than 29. Ooh, we also, well, we'll do that in a sec. If their gold is greater than 29, we're going to go ahead and say, fine, you can now own a fancy getter. And I called that variable up at the top, getter owned. It will be equal to getter owned plus 1, right? They're buying 1. And then we need to set the text. But I forgot, we also need to take away their gold. We need to take away some of that money. If they're shopping, they don't get that gold still. So gold equals gold minus 10, because the price of this is 10. And then for the getter, we would do something like gold equals gold minus 30. And then we just need to set the text of the getter right here. So getter. Getter shop count. And then again, we gotta get rid of text. We just wanted the variable. And what are we gonna set the text to? Getter owned. That's all looking good. The one other thing we want to do, when they first click on the shop menu, we want all these numbers to load right away. So if they click on the shop button, we got to set this text stuff, because right now it would just be 0, 0, 0. So we're going to need 3 set text, because there's 3 texts we're changing. Set text, and set text. And what do I want to change? Well, I want to change the gold shop count. Nope. Gold shop count to whatever the gold variable is equal to. I then want to change the super owned. Oh, I named it super shop count to the super owned variable. And then I want to change the getter shop count to the getter owned variable. Oh, did I run out of space? Maybe it's getter shop count like that. All right, let's test all this for mistakes. Great thing about code, you can always have mistakes. It's not a big deal. Debug. So I'm going to, I don't know, let's click a little bit and hit shop. 1 gold, and I don't own any of those. Go back to the game. Let's see if I can get enough gold. Probably should have cheated and put this on a higher rate. Got 10. So now that I have 10, 11, boom. And oh, we didn't update gold. So what we should do in super icon and getter icon, we want to go ahead and set the text at the end of them. Because we need to show them, yep, you spent some gold. Gold shop count is going to be equal to gold. And oh, I dropped it in here already. Look at that. It's going to be equal to gold. Okay, so then that should be working. Now, we already have the gold reward in place. If they buy the getter, when they click, gold has a chance of being much higher, much better, right? Easier to get. I want to do one thing to the clicker that's just kind of fun. I want them to, when they click, see it. So start scene click. I'm going to go ahead and set property of, where'd it go? Enemy image. Oh, you know what? Actually, we were going to use a time thing. So, that's fine. Sets a timer and executes code when that number of seconds has elapsed. So when they click, what we're going to do, we do want this. We're going to UI. And this sounds complicated. It's not terrible, actually. It's fun. If you don't want to do this part, you don't have to. But I'm going to use 2 set properties. And so when they click on our enemy here, I'm going to go ahead and change the icon color. And this only works because mine's an icon. So if you did a picture, it won't work. To red. However, I want it to look like it's blinking. So right now, this is in milliseconds. Right now, this would stick around for 1 second. Okay? And then this runs. So the computer hits this and says, set timeout. And it goes, okay, I'm going to make this code happen when? Oh, in 1 second. And it waits. I'm going to make it wait less than 1/10 of a second, 1/20th of a second. So it will just blink red, and then I want to set the property back to blue. So let's test. Oh, I need this on enemy click. Which one? And I need to drag this down here. Okay, so click, and it blinks because it sets it to red. The computer waits 1/20th of a second and turns it back to blue. So it looks like that. That's pretty fun. All right, now we want the super click to work. And what the super click is supposed to do is multiply the amount of clicks by 3. So to do that, we're going to go ahead and say clicks equals clicks plus 1. And I'm going to add to this plus 1 times super own. Okay, so plus, we're also going to add to this, however, 1 times super owned. So if they own 0 supers, it will just be 1, right? If they own 1 super, plus super owned times 3. So, yes, now clicks will go up by 1, plus if they own any supers, however many they own, we multiply by 3 and count as part of their clicks. We then can use this clicks when we set the property of their score. So their score goes up faster because now they have a super powerful click. Let's try it all out. Run, play. Okay, and so I need 10 gold, takes a second. There we go, I'm going to go to the shop. And then let's go ahead and I want to super click. It shows here, game. We don't have it shown here yet though, or there. We need to fix all that. But notice how fast my clicks are going up now? So let's make sure that we set the, when we click on the game shop game screen button, we need to set the text, and set the text, because we don't know what they bought. So we want to set the gold, clicks won't change. We want the gold number to be equal to the gold, because they might have spent some money. And then we're going to want super count game to be equal to super owned. And then we're going to want getter count to be equal to getter owned. And that should update that. So let's see if we can get a gold getter and its impact play. So the clickers only impact this score, which is good, but part of the game is figuring out if it's better to buy a gold getter so you can buy more clickers, or the clickers to increase your clickers faster. Because sometimes it's better to get a gold getter so you can later on earn money much faster and get more clickers. We haven't added a way to lose yet, which we're going to do right after this. Oh, there we go, gold. I'm going to go ahead and click shop, and gold getter, perfect, game, and hopefully, yeah, you see gold going up easier now? All right, now the way to lose. So it's a one-shot deal on this, and it's kind of an evil way, and I love it. We are going to throw in, design, one more icon, and I like choosing penguin because I decided it was an evil penguin. It's actually a Linux penguin, which doesn't, never mind. It's an operating system for computers, Linux penguin. I think I made mine green. Obviously make yours whatever you want. Oh no, I made it like purple because I wanted it. It's a little too close. And then there is my penguin. Lose button is what I'm calling it. And we want it hidden. It's going to start off hidden, okay? And we're going to make it randomly pop up. So to do the random pop-up, what I'm going to do, I'm going to head over to our code, and I'm actually going to make a function. And in this function, I'm going to name mine show over enemy. And there's two things that are going to happen. The regular guy is going to disappear on us. So we need a set property for that. The penguin is going to pop up, set property for that. And then we are going to use a time, set timeout, because we're going to display this enemy for only, let's say, half a second. And if they click accidentally in that half second, they lose, it's over. But if they don't, they can keep playing. So, bunch of set properties. Okay, so we need enemy image, lose button, enemy image, lose button, and then hidden. And what this does is if the item's hidden, you can't click on it. So we're going to say if show enemy happens, hidden will be true for a regular enemy, false for a lose enemy, and then after half a second, we're going to go ahead and show our enemy again and hide. Oh, true is hidden, false, yes. And then our enemy image is going to be false. It's no longer going to be hidden. Now, how often should this happen? That's totally up to you. How mean are you? The way I'm going to control it is on clicks. So what I'll do here is at the end of this, I'm just going to put an if. And if we'll say random number, I'm going to do 1 to 8, is equal to 5. Well, then I'm going to call that function. And to call a function, to ask that function to run, you just say its name, right? So I'm going to say the name of this, which is show over enemy. And that should pop up our over enemy. Now we need an on click for our over enemy, or on event. So on event, that the lose button, which is really just the enemy icon, is clicked. We are going to set the screen, and for now we can leave it at this because we need to make those screens. So actually, let's do that. Design. We need to make a win and a lose screen. Actually, let's just make end screen. Oh yeah, that's perfect. So end screen, because we're going to use it for both. And then this is going to be a big label up here that says, it will say like high score or congratulations or you lose. So for now, end message, I'm going to write high score for now. And let's go ahead and just stretch it all the way across, 26, 44, and center that guy. I have no idea. Beautiful. Okay, high score. And then an icon of some sort. I'll do either trophy, yeah. Perfect. Something like that. Okay, that's the end screen. So let's go ahead now and do if they click on the, they're going to go to the end screen. Let's test this. Move, and that happened fast. All right, now we need to set up the data. So the data that I'm going to be using, let me just make a function. I think it makes it easier, and it'll be like store our data. All right, now we're going to use the read records. So we want to check if the current player, oh, got it. There's a word there. If the current player has played before. So what do we want to do? Well, we want to read, I'm going to name it the data, player data. Okay, so player data. So let me go back here. Here we are. And player data, I guess I'll capitalize this. And then what data do we want to look at? Well, here, I'm just going to type this stuff in. We're going to look at the player ID, get user ID. Okay, so read the records, player ID, get the user ID. So we're checking if they've played before within our data. And then records, that's great. And we're not going to need this for statement. Because once we do that, we're going to use create record. So if there's no data, right? So if that's not found. So if records.length is equal to 0, what the heck is records? Records is right here. So when it looks for this stuff, what it returns is records. Records is what it returns. And if that's equal to 0, well, there is no records returned. So we're asking if it's equal to 0. If it is equal to 0, well, that means we need to create the record. So that's what we will be doing. Create record. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the updating of it. And let's throw in a console log just so we can see how this is working. So what would we want to update? Well, we would want record ID to be equal to record.id. So we're going to grab this by update, I guess. I mean, we're going to make a variable to use. Okay. And then let's make sure, as I said, it's player data for the table I'm making. And then what do we want here? We're going to want not this at all, because that's hard-coded. We're going to want record.playerID. And keep in mind, player ID is what we got right here. It's a computer pre-made function that it will grab the ID of the user. It makes it up. It judges by like location, I think, in internet browser. And it's like 1784, whatever. Each time you get on, you get a player ID. Well, the first time you get on. And then if I hit refresh and play the game again, my ID is the same. So it kind of can keep track of my score for me. So now that we have we got a player ID up here, we get the user ID info, we get this returned as records. Records.length is, if records.length is equal to 0, oh, there's no one there. So now we are going to go ahead and create a record, player data, record, player data, right? Because the computer did generate a player ID for us. And what the next step would be is to say, okay, whatever you generated, that record ID, we're going to now make equal to the variable record ID. That way we can use the record ID variable, and it's now the player data, player ID that they would have gotten when they got on. Now we do need an else. And in this else, we want the updating. So that means if they are recognized, hey, this person's definitely played before, they already have a player ID in our data, well then we're going to say a high score is equal to records 0.high score. So if we found a match, right, read the records, look for a match, get user ID. If we found records, we're going to say the high score is equal to records 0. And then, if there is a match, yes. And then we're going to say records ID is going to be set equal to records 0.id. So again, we read the records, we got the player's ID, and we looked for it. If we didn't find it, we got 0 back, and we're establishing a new variable to be used here, okay? And if we did, I'm going to get rid of that, we won't use it. And if we did find it, if we did find that record, they would be 0 in that record list because we used their ID. There's now a list of 10 people. We looked for the exact person, and we're grabbing record 0. Yeah, it's at the 0 location, 0 index. It's the first thing of their high score, same of their ID. Okay, and now we just want to make sure to call all this, store data way up here, and start. Function's name to get running, store data. Okay. And actually, we need to update the numbers because they might hit reset from any screen. So let's go ahead, what's this on that about? Oh yeah, we'll take care of that. Let's go ahead and make a function that just updates the gold super game on the game screen. So this is going to be a new function. I'll drop it here. Update game. And what it's going to do is these 3 things. Right. And so I'm going to need it here. Update game. When they click the shop button, I'm also going to just use it at the top because we're going to let them hit restart if they lose. So update game. On the end screen, we need design button We play BTN and play. Great. Let's add an on event for that play button on the lose screen so they can get back to the game. On click, and we're going to say set the screen to the game screen. No, let's actually take them to the start screen. And then when they click the button to go, it will reset everything. Perfect. Okay, so, something I didn't think about though is for this function, we should also update clicks. So we'll just update everything right here. We're just going to update everything on the screen because when they restart the game, we're going to zero out clicks. Clicks. And then what we'll have to do up here is before we update the game to make sure all those start at 0, we're going to need to, and so this would be gold is equal to 0 because we know they're just starting out. Clicks is equal to 0 because if they hit replay, we need to reset all of this. And super owned is going to be equal to 0. All right, now we have some variables to make. So we need a record ID, and I'm just going to make it equal to -1, so we know it hasn't been set. We're also going to need a high score, because we're going to keep track of their high score if they have already been playing. So high score is going to be set equal to 0 to start. All right, and now we need to make a function for our end screen, and we are just about there. Record hasn't been, yeah, it's true too. All right, both of those are fine. We're going to do a function down here, and a big if. And for this function, I'm going to call it display end. If it's for the game's over, and it's going to be if clicks is greater than high score. So we are getting their high score, right? We grabbed it right here, and we set it equal to high score. So we know their last high score. Again, we have a user ID. The computer makes it for us. It checks if they are there, and it grabs a high score. So if they do have that high score, if we do have a high score, we want to know if they beat it. So if clicks is greater than high score, well then in our data table, they have a new high score. So we want high score to now be equal to clicks. We then need to update the data because, well, they have a new high score. And so we're going to do update data, and my table's name player data. The ID is going to be equal to the record ID, this variable right here that we made when we got their record by using their ID. And then we need to have their player ID, which is going to be the get user ID function, which might have been easier if I just grabbed from right here. But well. And then we're going to want to use that high score. So high and keep in mind these are going to be columns in the data table. Okay? So then we're going to be putting in this high score. So after this, we want inside of that if success. So we're asking, hey, did you update that record okay? Oh, we don't need to cancel it. I did that in testing. But let's do the UI control. Let's add here info text, I'll call this. Oh, that's border. And center. Okay. Code. Let's set the text of this to winner. So set text and message to winner. So because they have a new high score. Else, oh, maybe we don't need this. Yeah, okay, so else, set text of end message to loser. I know I'm kind. Let's go ahead and change the icon. So property set, oh, I named this image too. Don't do that. Always give stuff names. Image 2 thumbs down. Perfect. And then we're going to, oh, we haven't actually set the screen, I guess. And then let's set text twice. I'm going to change this up. I'm going to have to change this to 25. I'm going to pull this up. I'm going to put this about here. I'm going to duplicate it. I'll call this info to end. And put it on place for it. Great. All right. And then what we're going to do with this is I'm going to go ahead and set that info end, which is the top one. And what is it going to be equal to? I'm actually going to say this is equal to final clicks. And to add a variable, to display a variable, I can also just do a plus. I'm going to write clicks. So that will say it's string final clicks, and it will smack our number for clicks onto the end of it. And then for this one, I'm going to say your high score, and then high score. All right, let's go ahead. Yep, did I make player data already? Ah. Cool. That's all ready to go. And then what's this mad about? Success should be fine. We might have to do some debugging on that. I know this hasn't been called. Yeah, that's fine. And it looks like I missed an S here. No, I didn't. Ooh, I'm missing a bunch. So we're creating a record for player data. I see. Now, we want the, what are we doing here? We want the player ID to be equal to, because we're creating this, and I'm going to control C, control V, so it's going to be equal to that ID, and then we don't have that yet. We want a new high score for them, so that's going to be a high score 1, boom, comma. And then we have a record that we just made to do the following with. Okay? Record ID has not been declared yet. Yes, it has. Oh, records, not bad. Okay, and that should be fine. We'll find out, I guess. Show function display end, yep. So let's go ahead and go up here. And again, what was this? We got display end, and then we also have store data. So lose, we want to do the display end function. And then store data, we want up here. We want to check on the event start screen is clicked. We want to see if we have them before. So check for their high score and store it in our variable if we got one. All right, let's see what bugs. Whoa, not what I want. Let's see what bugs there are. Ooh. I hit a high score. Oh, I lost. I must have clicked the thing. Hey, why is my text not getting set? Display end. Oh, because I put it in the wrong spot. Oh, warning, set text ID. Oh yeah, final clicks. Info and 2 is that ID. Winner! So I got a high score there. I am text still didn't work. I must have labeled this wrong. Info 2, and of course I did. Lose! And you see my high score here, and if you go to data, here, my play is recorded. Column 1. And then we want to make sure it only creates records if it needs to. Let's double check that success statement again. I'm going to shrink this down a bit. Oh, I see what it's saying. We don't need success. We just need a ordered record. We're just going to set the text to winner if their high score. If clicks is greater than high score, we're going to, yeah, got it. We're going to update their high score record, and then we are going to put out that they are a winner. Great. So let's go through this again. Oh my gosh, I died so fast. Play. Wow, why is it doing that? Oh, good. Oh, lost. Now let's check our data. And notice it only has, this was my first entry apparently, it gave me a bit of a different ID, but it will only have 1 no matter how many times I play. Oh my gosh, and I'm terrible. I'm going to make this easy by lowering the possibility that our bad guy shows up, our ending guy. So random number 1 to 80, and if it's equal to 5, will show up. What? Dang it. 850. Oh, I need to reset it. Let's buy a super clicker. And I reset the game. I'm also going to start myself off, apparently, with 60 gold to test everything. Run. Play. Alright. Boom, 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 boom. Let's buy some stuff. One of you. Sure, another one of you. Go back to the game. Yep. Okay. Now, watch how much my clicks are going up. And when I get gold, I should never just get 1. I should be getting, well, I can get 1, but I should get a bunch. I'm going to buy another gold getter. Oh, dang it. I still don't have no money? This game's mean. There we go. Keep it going. Now, the problem is it's very unlikely to end since he's only going to show up once out of every 850 clicks. So I should put that back now. And you can make it easier or harder by changing that. Maybe I want to set this at 18. I don't know. Well, let's do one more playthrough. Oops. Wow, 18's rare too. Do whatever is right to you. And I lost. I should set this back at 0. Cool. And design. And data. Let's just make sure everything's updating. 19 still my high there. Okay, let's cheat for a second, because we want to test this. And I'm not very good at it, I guess. 20. So I'm setting that at 20. Oh, where did clicks get reset? Oh, I guess I had to... Okay, let's try. Run. There we go. Oh, and it knows I have a new high score, right? And so now it should update my data. Boom. Awesome. So I might put a little bit of code in the description. I'm not really sure yet, but you get the general idea. Actually, I'll probably throw this whole thing in the description so you can play with it. I'm going to put in some variables that make it easier to break, because do not just copy and paste code. It is plagiarism. Really, it is. And your teacher can find this. You found it. And I know I'm a teacher. I would find this. So hopefully that was helpful, and good luck.